everybody, welcome back to the Evermore YouTube channel. Yes, it's the final countdown. We're looking at the Carabao Cup final this weekend. It's a bit of a match preview stroke key player analysis for the massive game this Sunday when Newcastle United take on Manchester United at Wembley in our first cup final since 1999. We're going to get stuck right into this in a minute. Just pick out some of the key players for us and some players to watch out for them. Hopefully they'll have crap games and our lads will dominate, but we are going to have a look at it nonetheless. So we'll get stuck into this in a second. Just before we do, a little reminder, if you haven't already, please click that subscribe button. We'd love you to come and join us. We're on 2518, I believe, subscribers right now. So loads of room for you, all free content, never more. 2 live shows, Mondays and Wednesdays, and pop-up videos just like this one you're going to watch now. You won't regret it. Loads of great Newcastle United banter. Come and join the crew. So let's get stuck in then. Obviously, it's a huge game this weekend going down to Wembley. Everybody's buzzing for it. Sadly, I won't be there, but a lot of our Evermore squad are there. So a big shout out to the guys, Lee, PK, Dan, Audie, Sima. They're all down there for the game. So they'll absolutely be buzzing and rocking off that. I'm sure we'll get loads of pictures coming into the WhatsApp group throughout the period and throughout the day and everything else. But it's just going to be a brilliant day. I think everybody's buzzing. I think the whole city's alive. Everywhere you go in Newcastle, all the pubs have got the Tell Me More up in the windows. Even Alden Square popped up a massive poster of Eddie Howe as well. So everybody's just totally buzzing for this game. And I really, really hope that the lads just step up and perform. We've had a tail off in form. We spoke about this on Wednesday, but I don't think that's going to matter. I think this game is so big and the lads will give every single ounce of energy that they have to try and win this football game. But it won't be easy. Manchester United are in brilliant form at the minute. I much would have rather had Manchester United from 6 months ago, where all the disarray was there and Ronaldo was causing bother behind the scene, than this Manchester United. But listen, beggars can't be choosers. We're in this final on merit, so are they. They've got a huge game against Barcelona on Thursday, which could take a lot out of them, and we really hope that it could do, and it really plays in our favour. But our lads seem quite relaxed. Eddie Howe seems quite relaxed. But I know come kickoff, we'll be hitting the ground with loads of intensity to try and win this football game. So we're going to have a little look at some of the key players we think that could make the difference for us and players that potentially could cause a big threat for them. I said this on Evermore, the battle for me is in the midfield. We're going to have this wonderful man back, Bruno Guimaraes, in the heart of the Newcastle United midfield. And obviously he's going to be coming up against his fellow countryman, Casemiro, who has to be said has been a revelation since he signed for Manchester United. They've had a lot of so-called big players that have signed that really have burnt out, washed up, like Pogba in particular, that I thought was probably the most overrated footballer on the planet. Zlatan did quite well for them, but they had loads of kind of, failures, Di Maria's and Schweinsteiger's and, all these other players that just didn't really seem to do what Manchester United want them to do and to be probably what you would call a Manchester United player. Casemiro certainly has done that. He's come to Manchester United. He's been a brilliant signing and he's really galvanised them as a team, much like Bruno has done for us. So you can see kind of how the lads compare. I mean, it shouldn't surprise anybody. Bruno shades it obviously in the assists and the goal side of his game. We signed Bruno as a defensive midfielder, probably similar to how Manchester United signed Casemiro, and he's actually been the opposite for us. He's been a really good number 8. He's almost a hybrid midfielder, Bruno. He can do it all. He can go back, he can go forward, he can put a tackle in, sometimes I don't tackle, but he can put a tackle in, he can create, he can score goals, he can thread brilliant through balls through, but he's going to be rested, but he's also going to be a bit cold to a game like this. So we really hope that Bruno can hit the ground running in this game and really show what he's all about. But his fellow countrymen certainly will be in his face. I mean, Bruno's key strengths we can see there, his progressive passing. Casemiro, you're looking at the way he blocks, he's up in the 92nd percentile for blocks and interceptions. He's in the 89th percentile. Tackles, he's 98. So he's a proper beast of a midfielder. We could really kill for a midfielder like that to let Bruno off the leash and maybe go a little bit further up the park. So I'm pretty sure Casemiro will be in Bruno's face, but he's no more guy in terms of going forward. You can see he's in the 87th percentile for assists, 0.22 per 90 minutes. He's got 67th percentile for goals. Doesn't score a lot of goals, but when he does, that they're normally absolute worldies. So I think for Casemiro, his play, his strength really is to win that ball back, break up that play, start moves for Manchester United. But he is capable of wandering forward and scoring an absolute worldie as well. But goal creation chances and shot creation chances, they're both kind of up there as well. So Bruno's going to have a great game. And I think Casemiro is also going to have a great game to stop Bruno Guimaraes from bossing this match. But, Bruno's already turned around and said that This is the kind of game that he wants to be playing in for Newcastle United at 25 years old as well. He's got the legs on Casemiro. He's a good few years younger than Casemiro at 31, even though he's a phenomenal player. So maybe the longer the game goes and the more intensity that's burnt up, Bruno will come into the game, and maybe outlast Casemiro in terms of that fitness and that drive. But it's going to be a hell of a competition between these two. You couldn't ask for probably two better centre midfielders to go into battle against each other than these two. So I'm really excited to see how it goes. Obviously, I'm a Newcastle fan, so I want Bruno to come out on top. But I think for the neutrals, they're going to absolutely buzz off seeing this battle between these two players. And if they both have the games that we know they can have, it's going to be an unbelievable game between the two. Just looking at the radar grid there, it kind of backs up what we said defensively. Casemiro edges it over Bruno, but progressive passing, Bruno is the man, but assists are both kind of, on par, really. So I think the midfield is key for this game. I think if Bruno comes out on top from that battle with Casemiro and Fred, I still don't really rate Fred. I think he's really, really lucky to be in that Manchester United squad. He's a bit like Jason Orange and take that, isn't he? He's just really lucky to be there. And if the band never broke up, he'd be fucked. But yeah, I think for me, Casemiro is the man for them. Obviously, Fernandes is the creator, but Casemiro is the man who sorts that midfield out. So, if he gets bested by Bruno, we've got a really good chance in winning that game. And I'm just buzzing to have Bruno back. Also it helps Joe Linton's game as well. And Longstaff's been superb in the lead up to this final too. So that midfield three, I think, for Newcastle has to be at it 100% for us to have any chance in winning this game. Looking at the other key players for us, just picking them out. Obviously, there's key players all over the pitch, but we want to focus on maybe one or two in particular. Bruno is the main man, in our opinion. But another player who we need to be on song is this man right here, Miguel Almiron. He's had the season of his life. Looking at his stats there, 29 games, 27 starts, 10 goals and 3 assists. We would never have thought Miguel Almiron would have had those stats in him a few years back, but he has. He's been brilliant this season. The goals have dried up a little bit. It was great to see him get a goal the other week. Obviously, he should have got another goal against Liverpool. Bit of a bad first touch. Good save by Alisson too. But Miggy's busy. There's no doubt about that. And with that pitch at Wembley being really big, Miggy will stretch that pitch and he will give Luke Shaw a tough game. Luke Shaw's played there many times for England, and he will know that pitch and he'll know the strengths and weaknesses of that pitch. But he's going to be up against the Duracell bunny that is Miguel Almiron. And if he's up for this game, which Miggy generally is, he's going to give them a real torrid time. He's great at coming back as well, helping out Trippier. So Miggy is a fantastic player for us. He's such an important player for us. We're going to miss Joe Willock's energy. I don't think Willock will be in the middle of the park. I think he'll be on the bench, alongside Alexander Isak. Great impact subs to bring on if this game's getting away from us, as opposed to not having those players in the Premier League, in the last kind of few games. So, yeah, it'd be absolutely fantastic to have that impact from the bench. But Miggy needs to be on a game. And if we see the Miguel Almiron we saw pre-World Cup, Manchester United are in for a lot of trouble on Sunday. But Manchester United also have their own superstar, and he is unbelievable at the minute. He's carrying that team in many ways. Marcus Rashford. Isn't it amazing what getting rid of Cristiano Ronaldo did for this lad? It's weird to say because Cristiano Ronaldo is still one of the best players that's ever played the game, but going to Manchester United was just a massive mistake for the player and the club more than the player, I think. And he stifled a lot of players' games, and Rashford was one of those. Since Ronaldo's gone, Rashford has come into his own. You can see there 36 games, 29 starts, 24 goals, and 7 assists. He's been absolutely phenomenal this season. And, and the bigger the game, the bigger the performance from Rashford as well. He looked fantastic against Barcelona, the week there. He's obviously got the return leg at Old Trafford, pace, playing on the shoulder, strength, can get away from his man. A really, really dangerous player. It wasn't too long ago we were talking about him as a rumour hazard to come to Newcastle because it looked like his T was out at Manchester United because of the whole Ronaldo scenario, but that ain't going to happen now. Manchester United will build a team around Marcus Rashford, and he's been absolutely phenomenal this season. One of the best players I think that there's been in the Premier League. Probably one of the hottest strikers in Europe right now. He really is. And we're going to have to be on top of our game to deal with this guy. Obviously, if he pulls out wide, we need Trips to be on his game. We need Burn to be on his game if he pulls out a Burnside. But Shaw and Botman in particular have to be 100% at it. The 2 goals that we saw, which conceded against Liverpool, piss poor goals, really, in terms of them two. Them two are much better than that. Shaw in particular fell asleep, and I really hope that's the one bad game that Fabian Shaw has in him. towards the rest of the games of the season. But this game in particular, we need both Shaw and Botman to be as good and solid and just brilliant as they have been. Sten Botman's got the intelligence and the pace to deal with Rashford if he tries to get away from him. Shaw's a very clever footballer as well, but if he gets squared up with Rashford, he might get done for pace. Trippier's got the legs to keep up with him. Burn, I would worry about if he pulled out on Burn's side. I'm not sure who'll play out on that wide side. I think it'll either be Sancho or Anthony. It might even be Sancho because he's come back into a game a little bit there. We need Burn to be at it full strength. But one good thing Burn will have, I think, in the midfield with Bruno being back is it'll allow Joe Linton to provide cover on that left-hand side of midfield while Maxi's pushing up and trying to make something happen. To be fair to Maxi, he has tracked back quite a lot and he has defended a lot more. So I think Maxi will be a bit more disciplined in this game. But as I said, with that wide pitch at Wembley, a player like Saint-Maximin could have an absolute field day, running into space, dropping a shoulder, beating a man, getting away from them. We need Maxi to be bang at it. We need all the lads to be bang at it, really. But I think having Bruno back in the squad, providing those passes out wide to Maxi and Miggy, certainly Miggy, the reading between those two has been phenomenal this season. And when Bruno's been out of the team, we totally saw that and we missed that. Even Callum Wilson as well. Miggy can find him with those little through balls as well. I think Longstaff will do a lot of the dirty work. He'll work back. He'll try to watch those runs from Bruno Fernandes. I think he'll try and deal with that quite a lot. Bruno will track back as well, maybe get onto Casemiro. But then when we break, Bruno will look to get the ball and get it moving, get it happening. Mark mentioned on Evermore on Wednesday that ball from Botman as well to Bruno. Now Bruno's back in the team. That ball is so successful for Newcastle United. We really hope that Botman can find him again. But the lads are going to have to be bang at it on Sunday. There's no doubt about that. Again, my heart has overruled my head, and I think Newcastle can do this. I think we can win this game. I really do. I think we've got the players, certainly with Bruno coming back into the team, with Maxi on form, Wilson hopefully fit and raring to go. I heard his podcast. He sounds bang up for this, and I'd love Callum Wilson to get a goal at Wembley for Newcastle United. He's been brilliant for us, and he would deserve that. But having Alexander Isak as an impact player, which he's been better at, let's be honest, match sharpness, he's lacking a little bit in the full 90, but you give him on for 10, 15, 20 minutes with that pace that he has, he could rip any team to pieces. Same with Joe Willock as well with his energy. So I think we're in decent shape, bar the goalkeeper, which we all know is a concern. Listen, there'd be loads to talk about Karius, having a redemption story. I really hope he does. Unfortunately, as a keeper, they remember you for the bad things, not the good things. And I think Karius has maybe been unfairly judged, by a couple of iffy performances. We saw in midweek, Alisson and Edison, made errors, but Alisson in particular, who some people think is one of the best goalkeepers the Premier League's ever seen, made a couple of honkers against Real Madrid, one in particular, so goalkeepers can have this happen to them. But I think unfortunately for Karius, that's stuck with him maybe longer than he needs it to be. So this is a great opportunity for him to, get rid of the ghost of the past, play in a cup final for Newcastle United, put a good shift in, win the game. He needs a couple of early touches, I think, just to steady himself, because he will be nervous. There's no doubt about that. But he's got a great back four in front of him there, solid back four, a united unit that I think can keep Manchester United at bay. Concentration has to be key. As I mentioned there, Rashford is their key man. He's the danger man. We've got to watch him. I fancy us to bully Fernandes in midfield. He's a bit of a whiner. I think he'll spend most of the game rolling around, wanting free kicks and yellow cards. Casemiro is a great player, and I think he will definitely give us a threat. Fred is a bit of a water carrier, I think, but we can't take him for granted either. But I think the key players we have to snuff out, really, for me, is Marcus Rashford and Casemiro. If Bruno can get away from him and get the best of him, I think we really have a good chance of winning this football game. And my God, what would it be like if we won the Carabao Cup? We are due a cup. I spoke to a couple of Manchester United fans who were a little bit nervous. They want a cup, and they're saying it's been so long since they had one. It's been way longer for us. I'm not just saying this because I'm black and white. We deserve this cup more than Manchester United do. We haven't won a cup since the 60s. Manchester United had so much success from that time till recently, before they slipped away with the emergence of City and Liverpool. But for us, we definitely deserve this cup. I hope the lads can do it. But they're the key players for us. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below, whether you agree or disagree. Let us know how excited you are for Sunday as well, wherever you're watching it. If you've been lucky enough to go, smash your comments in. If you're not lucky enough to go, tell us where you're watching it as well. We can't wait. I'm so excited for this final on Sunday, and I hope Newcastle United can bring home the trophy batter St James's Park in that open top bus, and this city will explode. So this is Chris signing off. Let's keep supporting that team of United. As I mentioned at the start, if you haven't already, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you on board. And if you can, like this video. It really helps get it around YouTube. There's so much Newcastle United content now, especially with us being in the final this week. It's everywhere, you see. But thank you so much for taking the time to watch us. If you have, enjoy the game, and let's hope the lads can do it. How are the lads? We'll see you later.